Bitcoin is going up for the same reason gold is going up.
Yeah.
It's gone up faster because we're a newer technology, we're a newer commodity,
Right.
and therefore the adoption cycle is happening faster. I say all the time, I go to bed and pray Bitcoin doesn't, I don't wake up with Bitcoin at 1 million, because that would mean we've ended civil society.
Yes, slow and steady, not a...
We want slow and steady. We want adoption,
Yeah.
and adoption in more and more people around the world. And there's always going to be governments, we saw it with Nigeria, we saw it with Turkey, that are unbelievably irresponsible with their monetary policy and their fiscal policy.
Right.
It's populism. I want to
Yeah.
get reelected.
Yeah.
Give everyone a free toothbrush.
Welcome back to the channel. With none other than Mike Novogratz, Mike leads a leading business in the digital assets ecosystem called Galaxy Digital, which provides a full range of financial solutions. Novogratz offers some groundbreaking perspectives on the Bitcoin ETF's prospects in a recent interview with Alex Thorne. He discusses how the SEC's delay in introducing options for the Bitcoin ETF is causing confusion among investors. Typically, when a new ETF hits the market, it takes just about 1 to 2 weeks for options to become available for trading. Options are crucial because they enable traders to speculate on the ETF's future price movements, boosting trading activity and excitement. The lack of options causes these Bitcoin ETFs' trading volume to trail behind those of equities like Marathon and MicroStrategy, whose volumes are significantly larger since they have options. Even if volatility results, Novogratz notes that the availability of options on equities draws in day traders and the enthusiastic Robinhood crowd, increasing volume and market activity. Let's hear Novogratz's observations and consider the implications for the future of Bitcoin ETFs.
With the adoption of the ETF, there's been a psychic shift, a psychological shift amongst institutional investors, in that this is now an industry. And, well, we all thought it was an industry for a long period of time.
Yeah.
You know, people are lending us money unsecured. We've got phones ringing off the hook with potential partnerships. Every big institution is figuring out what tokenization is going to mean to them. And so I have more confidence today than any time in the last 10 years of being in crypto that in 12 months and in 24 months, more institutions will be engaged in this space, and the space will be bigger. That doesn't mean the price goes up every month or every quarter. Right? We started this quarter at 73,000. Today we're at 65,000, 6 weeks in. And for all of our businesses, for Galaxy's business and for everyone else's business in this space, unlike most businesses outside of crypto, the activity level, the revenue, the excitement is very correlated to one asset, right? Bitcoin goes up, other crypto goes up, your staking revenue goes up, your asset management revenue goes up, your trading volumes pick up. And so we are still going to be correlated to the volatility and direction of the corn. And so we pray that Bitcoin goes higher. It's so interesting that there is a commodity company aspect to what we do, and that's because we're all based in dollars, right? In a future world, a long time away, if God forbid the dollar became toilet paper, and things were based in Bitcoin. And like, I know a bunch of really true Bitcoiners, they only think in Bitcoin terms. Mm-hmm. It's not how many dollars of Bitcoin you have, it's how many coins you have, right? That's not our company. It's not going to be the world for a long period of time. And so in a dollar-based world, we are a commodity company in that. This whole space is a narrative space. And what I mean by that, it's a storytelling space. Why I'm good at this space, I'm a good storyteller. We need good engineers, we need good traders, we need good, but storytelling is a big part of it. And it's going to be a big part of it until the protocols that are built on top of the blockchains are being used in everyday life, and there's a revenue that comes out of them.
Yeah.
Not just a story. Right now, it's the story of what they might do.
Yeah.
Right? And you need use cases and proof of concepts to help those stories go along. But we're in a narrative business, so we had great narratives for the last 9 months. ETF is coming. Larry Fink is endorsing this. Not just Larry Fink, but 10 other giant TradeFi companies getting into the ETF space. The halving was coming, and oh, by the way, Chairman Powell's going to cut 8 times.
Yeah.
We got 2 of the 3.
Right.
Chairman Powell's probably not going to cut for a while.
Right.
In the last few days, you've seen fixed income rally, cryptos take off again. We were at 57, then 61, and now we're at 65. Gold making record highs, silver making record highs. copper making record highs. And so there's or at least local highs, there's a resurgence of the, oh my God, the economy's slowing down narrative, which will be helpful. Like I said yesterday, I don't think Bitcoin takes out the old high, the 73,000 high, unless we get the Fed in action or we get some big regulatory breakthrough.
Yeah.
And those are both probably low delta. So that's why I think we're a bit of a range.
Yeah.
I said 65, 75. It's a pretty big range. I'm sorry, 55, 75.
It's a big range.
It's probably closer to 57, 73. Like we've probably put the low end, the high end right now until the next move. And I do believe the next move is up because I do think we're going to get closer to the election. Powell's going to want to cut rates. Right now, I talk about two things: crypto regulation and the goddamn debt. And they're at odds with each other. If we had an administration, Biden or Trump, that addressed this 26% of GDP federal budget, which should be 20%, it would not be good for Bitcoin. And so having really crappy policymakers and profligate spenders and populists in Washington, great for my net worth.
With the launch of the Bitcoin ETF, institutional investors are finally recognizing crypto as a legitimate industry. Many of us have long believed in its potential, but now we have tangible proof, including examples of people lending money without collateral. Big institutions are now figuring out how tokenization will impact them. Mike Novogratz is more confident than ever that in the next 12 to 24 months, more institutions will dive into the crypto space, making it even bigger. However, this doesn't mean prices will rise steadily every month or quarter. For instance, Bitcoin started this quarter at $73,000, but the price per coin is now $65,000 just 6 weeks later. The cryptocurrency industry is closely linked to one primary asset, Bitcoin, in contrast to most other industries. As Bitcoin gains growth, the whole cryptocurrency market also climbs. Staking income, asset management income, and trading volumes are all impacted by this increase. Since we continue to be highly dependent on the direction and volatility of Bitcoin, we hope that it will continue to rise each night. Let's hear more astounding insights from Mike Novogratz.
And I say all the time, I go to bed and pray Bitcoin I don't wake up with Bitcoin at $1 million, because that would mean we've ended civil society.
Yes, slow and steady, not a...
We want slow and steady. We want adoption.
Yeah.
And adoption and more people around the world. And there's always going to be governments, we saw it with Nigeria, we saw it with Turkey, that are unbelievably irresponsible with their monetary policy and their fiscal policy.
Right.
It's populism. I want to get reelected.
Yeah.
Give everyone a free toothbrush. Japan has a few things
What's
happening.
the deal there?
They have a declining population.
Yeah.
Japan is a insular country. When you live in Japan, which I did, you're an anthropologist. They're unbelievably polite and nice to you, but you're never really taken inside. I moved to Hong Kong, and you're a citizen. Like the next day.
You're ready to hang out.
And so they're not pro-immigrant, right? They're weary of immigrants. They want to preserve their culture, and they have no birth rate. And so you're losing Japanese at a rapid pace. They are the largest savers in the world and the oldest people in the world. Old people don't spend that much money.
Right.
And so there's a huge savings. And so they run this giant deficit, but they have an equal amount of savings. And so it's this weird accounting. We finally, after deflation for since 89, whatever, 30 odd years, 35 years, they've got inflation going. And that's allowing some vibrancy in their economy. The economy is doing fine. And, the yen is going higher because until they raise rates, and why should they raise rates? They only now got inflation after 30 years trying to get inflation. They got just a tiny bit of inflation. They're going to let inflation go for a while and actually to get nominal GDP going in their economy.
Yeah.
Why is dollar yen going up every day? Because U.S. rates are 5 and Japanese rates are 0.
Yeah.
Are negative. And so even if they raised them a teeny bit, it's still a huge gap.
Right.
And so currencies over the long haul go on interest rate differential. And, we'll see. They intervened at 160. They spent a ton. They have a ton of reserves. And they're hoping the U.S. starts cutting and that takes the pressure off of them. Yep. And so they thought Powell thought he would have already cut twice by now. And the market did too. But so we'll see. It's a great thing to watch. The Nikkei was the best performing stock market last year. It's doing fine this year. It only got back to the 1989 high this February.
That's crazy. That long
89, 11, 35 years to regain
crazy.
the high.
That's crazy.
So
talk about
and it did it
crypto
because
winner.
there was a cultural and a legal change that said you had to work to get your company trading back towards NAV. All of these companies traded way below book. Made no sense.
Yeah.
And there was no activism. And so you had activism, corporate activism in Japan for the first time, and a cultural shift of how companies were run.
Yeah.
Mike Novogratz has offered some insightful observations on the direction of Bitcoin and the overall state of the economy. He frequently stresses that he would not want to wake up to find Bitcoin valued at $1 million overnight, since this would mean that civic society has collapsed. Rather, he favors a gradual and steady uptake in which more individuals worldwide accept Bitcoin. He makes the argument that, motivated by populism and the need to hold on to power, governments with reckless fiscal and monetary policies will always exist. Turkey and Nigeria are two examples. He explores Japan's distinct economic circumstances as well. Japan is working to maintain its culture and has a shrinking population. It is also anti-immigrant. Japan has experienced deflation for more than 30 years, while having one of the world's highest savings rates and the oldest population. They've been able to induce some inflation lately, which has given their economy some life. They have a significant deficit, yet their equal savings make for an odd financial balance. You might clarify Novogratz's main ideas in the end of the video and stress the significance of Bitcoins and other digital assets' gradual rise. Emphasize the importance of wise economic policies on a global scale and the ways in which the particular circumstances of many nations affect the global financial system. Encourage viewers to remain knowledgeable and involved in these subjects, since doing so will help them navigate both the traditional and cryptocurrency markets in the future. Until next time, happy investing.